All right, I'm sorry. Welcome to the podcast. Thomas and Scott here with you. Thank you everybody for being here. It's awesome to be with you. We missed last week. It was normally we come to you every week, but last week we had a little bit of break. Why was that, Thomas? What did we miss last week?
It's funny, we missed a week, and I felt like it was a month.
It was it was crazy. Where were you last week? You have to confess here.
Yeah, so I was in the Houston area. Our company owner / CEO lives down there, so we had a little company retreat, which included work and leisure, and the leisure was crazy. Our owner is he's an adrenaline junkie.
Serious? Like
yeah.
Like the more risk the better type person?
So it's he, I don't know how to explain. Well, I'll just fast forward. So he's big into race cars, and he's been to the race car academy through Porsche, and he's been he certified.
Drives race cars.
Yes.
Okay, that is adrenaline. Okay.
It is.
That counts.
Yeah. So he took our leadership team. There's 5 of us on that board, if you will, to do business. And then there's about a track about an hour away from his house. And he took each one of us individually on the racetrack. It was an open day in the passenger seat of his car for about 30 to 40 minutes a piece to show us how he does it and what he does and his leisure hobby. And I did not know a car, and I'm a big adrenaline guy myself. I have a fairly fast car and I have a motorcycle. I had no idea that a car can do what it can based off of what he did to it. This
is like a race car, or is it like a street legal vehicle, or?
It's a Porsche GT2 with roll cage and everything else, with new motor, new suspension, new rotors, new everything. It's crazy fast. It's unbelievable. It's super fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, I watch YouTube videos on these guys all the time, and it turns out my boss is one of them, just without the YouTube channel. So it's
well, now you need to tell him, you're like, hey, there's a thing called YouTube. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, we're glad you're safe and you had that wonderful experience, a little adrenaline rush over the weekend, last weekend. We missed you. Good to have you back, and it's awesome to reconnect. A lot happened over the weekend. I want to say there are a bunch of people here in chat that might be here for the first time, and you want a story. I want to tell you, we're gonna tease it to the end. I'm going to tell you there's a story about a judge on my live stream, and it happened today, and I'm going to tell you why it happened and how it happened, and I believe I'm right. I'm dollars to donuts. This is what occurred. And so I want to tell you that. Before we get into that, though, wanted to sort of catch up where we were last week, things that have happened with the podcast, things we've been able to help with, and another opportunity. Is that something you're ready to go into right now? If I toss it over to you cold like that, Thomas?
Yeah, toss it over. I'll try to catch it with my fumble fingers best I can.
All right, so we had an opportunity. Thomas is an amazing guy. He's not going to tell you this, but I will. He's an amazing guy, and he had an opportunity to find or contact somebody that needed help. And instead of just helping a tiny bit, he also helped organize a huge effort that made a huge difference in the Hassan family's lives, as they've got a daughter who went through some very serious dental surgery. This is what Thomas is like. This is what he does. He sees people who need help, and he helps out. And he called me the other day, and he said, I want to run something by you. And he said, I've got a friend who's just got some really, really hard news. And this is as opposed to a complete stranger. This is somebody that's close to you, Thomas, right? This is you described it as your adopted parents type situation.
Yeah, so this is my family, and everyone in chat, for the vast majority, it's no secret, 99%, if not 100%, come from RA, your channel, your live stream. So you guys were incredible in the last GoFundMe donation. And when this came up to my attention, I called Scott and said, I'm real conflicted. I really want to help my this is my best friend of 15 years, and his wife as well, who's also a good friend, but quasi a second mom. And I said, I really want to do something, but I don't want to use your channel because we just did it, and I don't want to tag the channel as a begging channel. And Scott shut me down. He says, that's not the case. No, what is it? What do you need? How can we help? Let's do it now. And he made me explain the scenario. and
this is true. Even minutes before we went live, Thomas was like, please, let's just strike that. And I said, no, this is going in. We're going to share this. Honestly, from my perspective, this whole experience on YouTube, the way it's blown up, the amazing community I've discovered, things happen for a reason, and it would be wrong of me to not use anything I can to help somebody else who also needs help. And so I jumped at the chance, and I said, Thomas, please share this story tomorrow. Please share it today. Go ahead and give us a little background on Mike.
Yeah, you did. You pulled it out of me. So anyway, this is my best friend is Mike of 15 years. We met through my hockey days, and he was in law enforcement days, and then through golf, etc. I ended up in a career transition one time, moving from city to city. So I actually lived with him and his wife for maybe 2 years, something like that. And they're just my best friends ever. Mike and I do everything together. We golf on weekends. We work on cars. He actually just drives by and comes and hangs out and watches you at my desk in the mornings because he's actually now retired. And so he knows all about you, although he's not in chat. But so the scenario is right before I left for my Houston trip. His wife has been a manager at a restaurant, the breakfast shift, for 30 some odd years. Amazing, most caring woman in the world. And they found a tumor in her brain. So obviously that's extremely concerning. Further diagnosis. So I went with them last week they then want to do a full body scan because mostly they say if you have something in your brain, it doesn't originate there, it comes from somewhere else. So that was kind of the concern. So anyways, this Tuesday I took off work and we went for her scan, and now she has, her lungs are just inundated with cancer. They're some of the sweetest people in the world. Like I said, best friends of mine for 15 plus years. And it just so happens I've moved around a bit, but where Mrs. Weatherwatch and I now live, we're 2 streets over from them, which has been great. But it's a pretty horrific, it's a pretty sad deal. The survival rate's not great, but lots of prayers, lots of love, lots of thoughts. The support has been phenomenal, to be honest. So anyways, her sister-in-law has shared a GoFundMe to help raise, because this is going to be a hefty one now. They started the GoFundMe before the diagnosis on the lung cancer. That was just for the brain tumor and the brain surgery, which actually happens Tuesday. So I won't be in chat or be on your live on your channel or be at work on Tuesday. I'll be with my buddy Mike in the waiting room for that. But their goal for GoFundMe is actually way higher than what it shows now because of new diagnosis. So I just thought we'll share it. All right, just put it in chat. If you can donate and you feel inclined to, fantastic. If it's $1, if it's $5, if it's 10, whatever it is. If you cannot, please do not exceed your means. But if you can share it, if you have social media, something like that. The Hassan family that those of you are familiar with on the previous one, that was really awesome to do. This one hits home for me because I lost my mom to this a few years ago as well. And my best friend's mom, Tammy, who's now diagnosed, she's been a really good friend and kind of a second mom. So this one's a little bit more personal. But again, if you don't have the means, please do not stretch $1 and donate.
I would say if you don't have the means and you're religious, a prayer would be welcome and in this regard and very, very appreciated.
Absolutely.
If you've got,
and they are.
Yeah. And if you don't have the means and it's religion's not in your day-to-day life, maybe share it with a friend, share the link with somebody and just spread the word a little bit. Thomas, I'll say this, I told you in personally, but I'll tell it in front of everybody. Thank you for being who you are. And thank you for looking out for people and helping everywhere you go. It's one of the reasons I love doing this podcast with you. It is amazing. Thomas is incredible. I'm like fanboying here. Here. He's an awesome guy. What you see here is what he's like, and he's incredibly humble. I had to force him to do this. He was conflicted about it, and I said, "There's no way I'm letting this pass up." So thank you very much, Thomas. We'll put that link up later as well if you need if anybody needs that. We teased this a little bit. We teased this about the show. I guess now is a good a time as any to tell you what happened today. Everyone's saying, "Watch this." Yes, it happened. Oh my goodness, is that real? Yeah. Let me try to sum up how today went for on the live stream. We live streamed the Zachariah Anderson trial, and I do my commentary in the quiet bits, and we listen during the talky bits. And there was a quiet bit, and I'm doing my commentary, and I just said, if you're listening to this channel, and if you're watching, if you're reading this is what you need to do. The DA needs to be, I'm not talking as if I'm talking to people in court. The DA should be, dragged out of that room. He should not be there for this line of questioning, because he's now part of this whole scenario that's going on. And as I'm going through and saying this, I start hearing my voice again, and I glance down to my audio machine, and I look at the bars to see. I'm like, why am I getting a feedback loop? And I see it's coming through from the live stream, from the audio in the courtroom. And the judge had his laptop up on the desk at the bar and was watching my live stream and playing it live, and I was hearing myself in the courtroom. And talk about a surreal moment. I was floored. I was flabbergasted. I still cannot quite understand. It will be tonight sometime before I actually just did that really happen? But I'm sitting there thinking, what in the world led to that? Why is the judge watching my live stream during court? Okay, as the jury's walking in, I might add. He's called the jury in. And I'm sitting there thinking, what in the world? Everyone's like, the chat saying, "That's you, Recovery Addict. They're listening to you." And they were. This was not something on my end. People that were over on different channels, whether it was on Court TV or Law and Crime or anything, they went back and watched on their channel, and they heard me on that channel. So everybody who was watching the live feed at that time heard the judge watching my stream. And I went back and watched what happened, or I listened to what happened in my head. I played it through in my head what happened. And the judge had just used a USB device, and he said, "I can't plug it in to the state computers.
Right.
But I have my personal laptop, so I'm going to take a chance." And he plugged in this little video, and it was the video of the cursey words, die, blank, blank type thing. We got a lot of mother in today's live stream. Very, very spicy. Yeah. He plays it like 15 times over and over, trying to watch and see if the DA is actually coaching the witness to say this. And then he says, "Back it up 3 minutes. I want to see what happens before that." Well, they say, "We can't. This clip's only 35 seconds long." So he's like, okay. He unplugs it, gives it to the clerk, and then he goes to YouTube on his laptop and says, "I'll back it up on the live stream." And he searches Zachariah Anderson live trial, and guess who come up first? It was me. I don't know why, but the algorithm told him that I was the place he wanted to go. So he pops up the live stream and starts playing. It starts playing live as he jumps in. And then he gets the live stream, and it's going, and then he comments. He's like, "Now we're getting commentary," as he's hearing my voice. Okay, it was bizarre. But if you watch the rest of the day, he's watching chat. He's looking on the right hand side of the screen as he's watching the chat scroll by. So all your messages, everything that you guys are saying, he's watching this happen. All the messages we put up on the screen. He kept the laptop open the remainder of trial, because he's going to go back, thinking he's on Law and Crime or some other channel that was, this is the live stream as far as he knows. He's not a tech guy, right? So he's going to go back and watch that clip, and he's going to watch my version of that clip with your commentary, all the sound effects you guys triggered, everything you said, good and bad, about the judge is going to be in there. He's going to see that live, and he's going to replay to see what actually happened in real time a couple minutes before that exchange on that witness stand. So yes, I got dragged into this, but all of you did as well, and this is just going to be funny. Tonight, the judge is rewatching the live stream.
2,155 subpoenas have been issued tonight for RA's live chat.
We're all going to Wisconsin.
We're all going. Victor, do you have air mattresses ready for all of us to join? Because it's happening.
It is absolutely hilarious. I don't feel, I mean, this has happened in other situations where it was a bad thing, where a YouTuber was on, say, like a Zoom call where they were dialed into the actual courtroom and they actually talked when they're off mute, and that caused big problems. This was not that. I am not in no danger of being subpoenaed or anything like that, because it was the judge. I mean, who's gonna get the judge in trouble? Really, the judge pulled it up and played it himself. That was really, it's really on him. I'm not sure who's going to out him. I did hear that the defense attorney laughed out loud when I said that. She thought it was hilarious that I said you should remove the DA from the courtroom. So we'll see if she makes that motion on Monday and and follows through with my suggestion, which apparently she was listening to when I said, if you're listening, this is what you're supposed to do. Anyway, so that is that. I just want to say thank you to all the people who joined just for that story. I know there are a few that came through on Twitter. Brandy Churchwell has shared a lot of that. Brandy's actually going to include that in her next video that drops on Sunday.
Love it.
And I can't wait to see how I fit into the Churchwell chart. That's going to be a blast.
That's going to be a good chart. I think you're legally viable as much as I'm not a cat.
Yeah.
I think
yes.
is that situation.
Yeah, that's about how yeah, oh my goodness. It was crazy. And then to make it just a cherry on top, chat was absolutely amazing. We've had just amazing community members sharing the feed, inviting friends, popping in. Had tons of people in chat, and we hit last week we hit 7K, and this week we hit 8K, and just it was
unbelievable.
I don't believe it yet. I keep looking at it. It's like that number's too high for how long it's been. But thank you all for that. But we're not here to talk about that channel. We've got other things which are much more lighthearted than me getting subpoenaed for playing my live stream in court. But let's see. Where do you want to start, Thomas, today?
Well, fair. So again, for those of you that are new here, which again, we know this is a lot of crossover from true crime, and can't thank you enough for following over to this. It's awesome. We have so much fun with this. It's amazing. But we have a few new people in here too. So this podcast is a little bit different. It's not so much true crime. It's a bit of some headlines. They're light humor. They're funny. They're quirky. They're just different. They're random. No big rhyme or reason, but just a break from true crime to an extent. So kind of diving into it, if we want to segue off, diving into GoFundMe's and money and raising and everything. And I've seen the support in the chat. It's been awesome. But if we're going to talk money, we're going to talk about this newest plaintiff.
Hang on. Abby says I'm new here. Abby's one of the OGs. Abby in the UK. It's like, what time is it in the morning there? It's like 4:00 in the morning right now. Abby, you're amazing. Good to have you here.
She's like the second subscriber
ever. I know.
So
wait. You should play the clip. Should I play the clip really quickly before we move on? And then we can talk about money in just a second.
You should do it. Yeah.
Let's back up. I've got it here. Just 1 second, you guys. We'll see if we can make this happen.
It's freestyle.
Yeah. Okay, so this is from Phil, one of our channel members. Let's see if we can get some audio going. I'm surprised they haven't asked for the DA to leave the room. If you're reading my chat or listening, this is what you should do right now. Ask for him to be escorted out. It's fair game.
Should we ask the jurors to come in? Oh, no.
The fireworks are not done. Why am I hearing this?
Now we're getting commentary on the case.
I'm surprised they haven't asked for the DA to leave the room. I did not know what to do. I honestly, at this point, I have no words.
Nothing you can do.
Oh my goodness. It was crazy. It was absolutely insane. Just hearing myself and hearing the judge, the fireworks are not done. Anyway, we're going to jump back from this way here. There we go. Anyway, so that was how it went down. I did sort of recover enough to say, Judge, if you're still listening, when you retire, I want dibs on your chair. Amber pointed out she's trying to make a shirt that says, "Is now a good time to plug the podcast?" Quote from Recovery Addict. We got all those in there, but it was I was completely speechless. DMB. it was. I couldn't understand how it happened and how it came to be.
Just sent a super sticker with 5.5.
But thank you very much. Thank you for the super sticker, generous donation. On that transition, can we talk a little bit about money, Thomas? Is there something you want to talk about?
We can't. We just can't abort the subject yet. I can't get past it because when it took place, it went right over my head. I even put in chat, "Oh, haha, we get double RAs." I thought you had a mixer, a mess up with your mixer or something.
That was
I was giggling.
That was my gut impression. It's like I hit something. I hit a button somewhere, and something's wrong on my desk.
That's where my brain went, and then your face when you just kind of and then someone in chat went, "Oh my gosh!" And then it was just fireworks from there, which was awesome. And I agree in chat, and I think everyone we have to find a soundbite from that somehow of exclamation fireworks. It's going to be tied to that situation forever.
I'm thinking maybe now we're getting commentary from the judge. Might be a good one as well. I'll see if I can lift that little bit. But absolutely incredible. And all of you that got to participate and watch that live, just know that the judge probably right now is still watching that live stream and reading your tweets and listening to the sound effects you trigger during the breaks. So you're in this.
So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for all your subpoenas.
Yep, they're coming soon. Oh, man. If the judge does subscribe, I'm guessing he probably won't be in chat, but that would just be hilarious. That would be like make my day type thing.
And if he does, Judge Schroeder, make sure you enable gifts because someone in here is going to gift you a membership.
Let's get you a gift. Get your name in green. Get you a courthouse by your name. Make you official.
Yep.
Oh man, that is great. Love lawsuits. Love true crime. Do we have any lawsuits to talk about, Thomas?
We have lawsuits. We've got money hungry people and we've got lawsuits. We've got a broad range of viewers here as far as states, regions, countries, everything. So a popular one here in the U.S. and most states is Buffalo Wild Wings. I, for one, golly, I don't know. I spent way, way, way too much money at a certain period of time in my life when I was a bachelor.
Was there a certain menu item that was your weakness, or was it just everything?
No, not everything. So there was two. So the mango habanero bone-in wings, and then the Caribbean jerk boneless wings. It's the only two I got. It's probably there 5 out of 7 nights a week after work. And what's funny is the server at the time, again, this is 10 years ago, probably. Her and her husband are now my neighbor, which is too funny. But no, there's a guy suing Buffalo Wild Wings because their boneless wings are too much like chicken nuggets. I don't know what expectation you have when you go to a restaurant and you order a boneless wing. Are you expecting a wing with the bone just ripped out and just shards left? Or do you it's borderline chicken nugget, right?
If you have a deboned wing, there's not much left.
No.
So is he suing because was there too much meat or too little? I mean, I'm trying to see what his complaint is here.
Just doesn't resemble a wing. He's like, it's a chicken nugget. And Buffalo Wings says,
you sold me on wings and it's not. It's a nugget.
That's his whole lawsuit.
What part of the chicken is the nugget from? I mean, where's the nugget on the bird when you're doing your all your butchering on the chicken?
So Buffalo Wild Wings, like, you're right. It's 100% white chicken breast meat.
Okay.
Fried. It's not a wing. Yeah, it's what it is. So it's actually really funny. I love it. You know how when you class action lawsuits get filed, so-and-so reached out, but there's no comment or what have you. That always happens, right? It's a legal matter. No, Buffalo Wild Wings took to Twitter. It's awesome.
Now, they call them Buffalo Wild Wings. Are they from a buffalo?
We're going to get there on their third tweet, which makes it even better.
Let's hear this.
Yeah. So tweet number 1, and I wish everyone could see it, but you can't. It's a picture of just their Buffalo Wild Wing. Just a great picture of their boneless wings.
We're talking like a glamour shot, steam rising from the wing. Just melting. Okay, go on. I see it.
And their caption is, and this is a trend for the next 2 tweets, is crypto, Ivan, is just boneless money.
I love that one.
It's phenomenal. So they do another. They're not done.
Okay.
They're gonna fire back in Twitter. Number
Shots
2,
fired.
it's a tray of their boneless wings with a nice latte. And you know how the cafes do the heart in the froth
The
or
little
whatnot?
little cream
Yeah.
shapes.
So they did the Buffalo Wild Wings logo in their latte next to their tray of boneless wings. And it just says, decaf is just boneless coffee.
I'm loving their social media person already. This is good. Okay,
That's their fight. That's what they took. That's how they responded to the plaintiff on Twitter. So if I recall, I scroll down. This plaintiff, he sued a company over alleged false marketing before. Prior suits involved a case claiming that natural label on Tom's and Maine Wicked Fresh Mountain Wash had too much fiber in it, and granola, blah, blah, blah. So it's not the first time this individual, I don't know him, I'm not knocking him, whatever, maybe he has a case, but
he's like a career lawsuit guy. This is
yeah, it's like an ambulance chaser, but like a false advertising chaser, I guess, right?
I guess
If you could go that far?
I guess there's a demand for it somewhere. Maybe somebody has to do it.
Somewhere. And then, so it's not related, but apparently the news article thought it was. So just a caveat, it's kind of funny. In 2018, a disgruntled Apple worker attempted to sue Apple for a cool like $1 trillion, the whole net worth of Apple,
Just petty cash money.
because they claimed when they went in to have their phone repaired, they just said they got a different phone, not their phone. So people are
Lawsuits over the weirdest things, for sure.
make it happen. See what you can do. Roll the dice.
Yeah. I'm going to go back. My wife, Mrs. R.A., just said, hey, can you pin the GoFundMe? And I can do that.
Oh, gotcha. Do you want me to drop it into comment real quick? And then you can put it up there.
I've got it right there. I could scroll up. I think that worked. There we go.
There it is. Cool.
What's up? Thank you. Well, that is funny. Buffalo Wild Wings, a sense of humor. I love anytime a company can respond to criticism publicly and in a funny way. I mean, a lot of times I've seen some companies that do it wrong, right? And I'm not going to call them out, but there are some companies that are even big on social media, and they come out with teeth and just like attack back type thing, and they have an opportunity. Okay, you can take bad press and turn it into good press, and that's what Buffalo Wild Wings is doing. And that first tweet with just a steaming rib, how many customers do they see that? So like, I know where I'm going for lunch. You know,
1 million.
Yep.
I'm convinced that Adam Nusky is Buffalo Wild Wings spokesperson because that's
He might
so
be.
witty, and that's his forte. So 100%. Kudos to Adam Nusky for that response on behalf of Buffalo Wild Wings.
Coco Talbot says, "Great, now I want wings." See, that's how it is. Another company that does
It
really
works.
well on social media like that is Wendy's. Wendy's, if you can see some of the Twitter battles back and forth, oh my goodness, I'm dying laughing, and calling out other companies and in a fun, lighthearted way. Absolutely love it. Social media personalities, they walk a fine line because it's very easy to make a mistake and suddenly your career's over.
Yep.
Because it reflects on the company, and if you think that something's funny that isn't, bye-bye. It was nice knowing you.
Right.
That's awesome. Speaking of bye-bye, nice knowing you. Up in New Hampshire, as you know, with your love for weather, they've had a fair amount of snow. Most of the Northeast has probably more than most people want. I think at this point they're like, okay, that's good. Somebody else can have it now, right? Can you imagine? I mean, with how many times you guys have to up those who I'm thinking of Kathy, off the top of my head, she got completely snowed in her house. Took a while. The power was out. Wasn't sure if she was going to get out of her house.
Yeah.
At that point, you're like, no more snow. Done. Think how the snowplow guy feels. Okay. Because every time that snow starts falling, from right before it starts falling till, hours after everything's done and all the roads are cleared, they're working. And they end up working 12, 14, 16, 18-hour days in that snowplow, just nonstop clearing streets. And you'd think that everyone would be like, hey, thanks, that's awesome, appreciate it, so glad you made the road safe for me, that I can do this. No, up in New Hampshire, there's a lawmaker who has been arrested for obstructing the snowplow. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. The plow driver has been plowing for like 4 hours already. Okay, he's up in the middle of the night. He's been plowing already.
Yeah.
This guy's out in the street and he's hopping up and down and yelling. The driver's like, something's wrong. He gets out, realizes the guy's mad at the snowplow. He's mad at him, and he's like, great. I get back in the truck, grab the phone, and start filming, right? Because that's what you do when you have an altercation nowadays. This is how you fix things. You film it and you put it on YouTube. Well, he did. And this guy goes back and forth, yelling, livid, that the snowplow is clearing the road, but in doing so, it pushes snow onto the driveway. And he's like, my driveway goes to right here. You've got to push this way, and don't push the snow onto the driveway. He's mad that he has to shovel out the driveway. And the plow guy, he's like, this is what I do. I push the snow off the road, and some of that goes into the driveway. And this guy's just yelling at me. I'm just trying to do my job. And on top of this, after my 18-hour day, I get to go home and try to chip through the ice that I pushed onto my own driveway. And, exactly. I have to do the same dang thing that this guy's complained about. This guy was a lawmaker. He was an elected official, and naturally it's gonna boom and yeah. So he has a court date in May after the snow's melted, but man, just don't do it. Think of the poor guy who's driving the truck. Yes, it's frustrating. I've been there. I've been there. I've cleared the driveway and been like, look, I got a head start on the day. My driveway's cleared. Nobody else. The road isn't clear, and along comes that flashing light down the street, and you know what's going to happen. And
You know what's coming.
Driveway blocked again. It happens, and those who live in the snow, they know you've been there. It's awesome.
It reminds me of the combative neighbors that have their snow plows and they're shooting the snow.
It's like Snow Wars.
Yes,
like Star Wars, but Snow Wars.
Yeah, and they go crazy about it. I get it, right? You could get nuts, but it just goes to straight hatred and argument and violence, and it makes for great YouTube for the rest of us. But
and
it's
we
crazy.
get court cases out of it, which is fantastic for everybody. Yeah, it's like a win-win for everybody but the people involved.
Bring on the content, just bring it on.
That's crazy.
You'd think as a lawmaker, like, come on, man, you've already got it as good as your coffee's made for you. You get lunch brought to your office
on the taxpayer's dime. Everyone else is paying for this.
And you could probably sneak in taxpayer dollars to hire someone to shovel off your driveway after the snowplow's been gone. Let's be honest.
Of all the things that lawmakers do, that would probably be on the lower level of the grift and then the things that they're. Yeah. Anyway, Luke Snowwalker says Ola. Yes.
I love that. That's funny.
The Snow Wars.
Does anyone in the chat, in which we know we have tons in snow-ridden areas, does anyone have Snowmageddon neighbors that you fight with over snow? I would love to see it in chat. That you guys just have to compete with or battle with, or do you have culture neighbors that help each other out? I have a colleague who he shovels the whole sidewalk in his block for his friends.
I'll tell you, I had one of those, and it sort of was it's like passive aggressive. You remember the commercial where the guy's like back and forth? I think it was like a joke about. There's a video where two neighbors are like complimenting each other. Don't worry about it. I mowed your lawn. Well, I bought you a new truck, type thing. And yeah. That commercial. They're one-upping.
Yeah.
When I had some neighbors that were fantastic, and they would come and shovel my driveway and my walk before I was up, and I'd always feel bad because I'm perfectly able to do it myself, and some of these neighbors are less able than me. Let's put it that way. Dealing with some recovering from injuries and things, back injuries, and they're out there shoveling. I'm still sleeping in bed, and my driveway's getting cleared for me. So a little bit, I was sort of like, I have to get out before my neighbors shovel my driveway, type of thing. So it wasn't like the aggressive, I'm going to throw the snow on his lawn or in his road, but I have had a few people that they're very adamant that they want to get to my yard first. Yeah, and that's awesome. I guess I've been blessed with good neighbors. I should not complain about that.
Congratulations on 8,000 subscribers, and you're welcome for the push.
Oh my goodness! Who is this? You've got a green courthouse by your name, so I know that this this has changed. Somebody. Oh my goodness! Thank you, Judge Schroeder. Good to have you in chat. Longtime supporter, apparently. On month 3, supporting the channel.
Yeah.
Good job in court today, Judge. I appreciate that. That was perfect. Whoever did that, amazing, absolutely amazing.
IP address lookup makes this really fun.
It's coming from Wisconsin. I don't know who it is.
Copy paste.
Ivan.
I'm over here in another window already. We're gonna see where this.
Katrina says, except for the big FU trees, Scott. Yes, there were those trees, but those were different neighbors. I swear they're different neighbors. I can't see the neighbors that complained about my trees that caused me to trim them into the shape F and U for fed up. That's where I know where you're thinking. Fed up. They can't be the same neighbors that shovel my driveway.
Can't be.
No.
I'm with Katrina in chat. It's got to be one man's view because he's the king, name changer, and it's always on point.
It's
and
not
so
just that. He changed his logo to be like J for judge. It was a complete switch. So somebody knows what they're doing there. That was pretty good.
professional name changer. One man's view. They nailed it.
That's awesome. All right. Next story I'm looking at that I'm actually curious about, and I have no information about it, but it says cookie in it. And I like cookies. I ate cookies on the live stream. I mean, I guess you could technically call them still call them cookies when I ate them. They were polluted with spice maple bourbon pickles, but I did eat them.
You ate an Oreo cookie with a pickle in between. Once they're combined, does it remain a cookie?
It didn't.
I didn't think so.
I will say no on that one, but it started a cookie.
Hogwash. That's what that turned. So news story, really funny, out of California. All the fun happens in California. So won't you take me to Sesame Street?
Yeah.
That's for all of us that know.
Can you tell me how to get to? I remember that.
There it is.
Days. I probably get sued for that. Copyright strike.
Yeah, I don't know.
Zing.
We need. Yeah, no, we're not good enough.
No.
So same story, but just go with. Can you tell me how not to get to Sesame Street? Okay. Because out in California on the boardwalk, there's a real life Cookie Monster, an individual dressed as Cookie Monster. He's walking around, he's waving, he's on his own. He's not part of an agency, a carnival, an arcade, anything like that. He's just walking around, he's freelancing himself
some
as the
dude
Cookie
in a Cookie Monster outfit.
100%, some dude.
Okay.
So
You do
apparently,
you, right?
yeah, do what you got to do. But apparently he's approaching families that have kids and saying, hey, pay me for a selfie. He's self-advertising, but he didn't go to like Sales 101 or anything. So he's just approaching families, abrupt and not cordial. So it's freaking everyone out in Santa Cruz.
It's an aggressive Cookie Monster. It's
yes.
like aggressive panhandling Cookie Monster.
Not the Cookie Monster we see on TV.
Wow.
Right. So he's aggressive enough asking for money from these selfies where people are calling police. He's done no crime. So the police investigate and like, well, we can't arrest you. Sorry, he's creepy. We agree.
I'm sorry, but I can just imagine the police rolling up on the scene and they're like, do you have any ID? And he's like, really? You don't know who I am? I'm a Cookie Monster.
Nom, 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 nom. Does that give it away?
Oh.
So police are urging people to stay away from the creep and from the weirdo and what have you. But the funny part is they identified him and he gave ID. It's Adam Sandler, but not the actor.
Oh my God. Like you're going to get me sued again. Thomas, you need to run these by me before you start doxing
I got
people
you that
for
one.
Crime. Oh my goodness. A different Adam Sandler.
A different Adam Sandler. So, a funny story out of California. And then his, I don't know what the relation is. I guess just castmate. So the article backs up from 2012, New York City Square. Elmo was arrested.
Oh man, not Elmo.
The Elmo from court. The Elmo, the legend.
Doug
he
would
was
be
arrested.
so disappointed. Doug would be so disappointed.
Very much so. So he was arrested in New York City Square for verbal altercation with tourists. So Sesame Street, we need a self-awareness. That's key.
That's just bad. It reminds me of, you hear about sometimes you go visiting foreign countries and you rent a car to get around and you pull up to a stop sign and people might run out and they're like, start washing your window. And I'm like, oh, this is so nice. People are so polite here. They saw me and they're like, money, or they won't get out of the way. It's like, oh, now I see what you're doing. And that was just water or, dirty water you splashed on my car. It's funny. But I guess if they find something that works, they stick with it. So
absolutely. Run with it. You got it. So that's the Cookie Monster story. And apparently this podcast has turned into just this food haven.
Oh my goodness.
Of try this, try that. And I know we had slated for you to do pickled eggs.
Wait.
Out of.
Wait.
Okay.
I have something to show you. Okay. And let me just warn you. For those that have
oh no
maybe are a little bit squeamish, or
Okay.
maybe you just ate, or maybe you're not just feeling really good in the tummy, just step away from the screen a little bit, watch from a distance maybe. Don't look too close. Maybe take us off the big screen for a minute, because I had a challenge. To try a new food, and I said, "Hey, I'll try this. I'm gonna take hard-boiled eggs. I'm gonna put them in a jar of spicy maple bourbon pickles, and I'm gonna have pickled spicy maple bourbon eggs, or spicy maple bourbon pickled eggs. I think would be the proper way to say it." And I did it, and they didn't smell very good. And I've sloshed it around a little bit so that the fuzz on the pickles is not as apparent as it used to be. But the pickles are not good. The eggs are not good. They're furry. There's fur that shouldn't be there, and the top is like, it's firm. You know how the button you're supposed to click so you can check to make sure it's safe? It doesn't go down.
There's a lot of pressure
There's
in
a lot
that
of
jar.
pressure. It could explode at any moment, and it's over the laptop. So mine's the laptop. Needless to say, I am not. I mean, I can show you up close how these look if you would like, but I just know it's not good, and I have to dispose of these probably before they explode. But for that reason,
That'll ruin a pint of Guinness for everybody real quick.
yeah, it's,
Real quick.
for that reason, I cannot try that. Andy says fuzz is never good. Miss Chris is a big no. Botulism, gross. No. Hazmat alert. Yeah, Judge Schroeder has a weak stomach. Cannot do this. Yeah, it's a big no, and I apologize because I had set up that I was going to try these, and for my own safety, and maybe the safety of my family and the neighborhood, I don't think I can open that jar. So instead, I chose something almost as risky and dangerous and just right on the edge as far as mixing flavors and trying something that I've never tried before, and I opted for a Reese's peanut butter cup with potato chips. Is this not equal? I think it's like a straight exchange, sixes, to go with the Reese's peanut butter cup with potato chips. I've never had this before. I mean, obviously, I love potato chips, and I like Reese's peanut butter cups. But I saw this combination, and here, let me show you the picture, how it looks. It's
I'm convinced this sweet tea salty combo is going to get me off the hook of my bailout 2 weeks ago, for sure.
I'm hoping. I'm really optimistic. I don't have any milk to wash it down like I had with the spicy maple bourbon pickle Oreo sandwich. But I've got water still in my mug, and so I thought I'd give that a try, and maybe you guys would count this as good enough on the taste test, and then we can be done with this segment forever. Is that fair?
It's kind of funny. You probably could have used water on the last segment to wash down the pickle Oreos,
I
and then
should've.
milk for this one. Yeah, it's just that's how podcasts go, on a whim.
Yeah, thank you. So, this happens to be one of the big cups, which I like. It's deeper. So size-wise, it's quite substantial. It's almost a meal in and of itself. Let me see what the size of this weight.
I used to make these as a kid.
So it's 1.3 ounces or 36 grams for those that don't do ounces. Who would that be? Ounces or grams are they metric?
I don't know, but ounces, that's equivalent to a shot of liquor in a bar.
Yeah.
That's what you've got in dessert.
Okay, so that for those of you that makes sense too. Very satisfying on the peel. Well, the little pop as the paper comes out of the folds of the chocolate. Very satisfying there. Smells delicious. I to my nose, I can't tell the difference at this point. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give you the ASMR version because there may be a crunchy potato chip in there. I'm not sure. It might be. I'm assuming it's a salted chip.
These are pre-made?
Yeah. This is Reese's peanut butter cups with potato chips. See that potato chips right there?
I apologize if people in chat have had these or they knew it was coming. I thought you were going to do a Reese's cup and put a potato chip on it, and I did not know that's a thing. That's a thing.
It may not be a thing for long. I've never seen this before. Okay, it's like the weird combinations of flavors. Like you can get Pepsi and Peeps flavor, around Easter time, and you can get Oreos in like actual Oreos in funny flavors, birthday cake flavor and things like that. So I'm going to give this a try. It may have a crunch to it. It might be a little disappointed. It could be soggy. But that's why I'm here, so I can try it, so you don't have to. And Mrs. R.A.
No idea.
Mrs. R.A. She says, I have two. She says, no, I want this one, and then I can have the glass of milk, which she has brought me.
That's fair.
So I get one, but I have some milk now. So here we go. We're gonna do the same thing. Little taste. I have to eat the whole thing though. There's definitely
Sounds
crunch.
delicious. Sounds delicious.
It doesn't feel like a potato chip crunch. It's more like almost like a granulated sugar, like clumps of granulated sugar is how it feels.
But they're salty, granulated clumps of sugar.
Yeah. The taste is, it's all backwards because the softness is on the outside with the chocolate and the crunchies on the inside. It's like I'm eating a reverse peanut M&M. So you've got the crunch, but it's like a peanut salted peanut M&M.
That's okay. Something getting roasted in
Red
chat.
Pen says maybe it's ants or grasshoppers. I hear the crunch.
Yeah, from the last. So I'm getting roasted. Adam's like, is Weatherwatch even watching the stream? And no, I didn't know that's a thing. And then
Right.
Kathy agreed. Someone else, who was it? JoJo was like, yeah,
Nicole's.
they're available everywhere. I'm like, this is new to me. I had no idea.
Look at
I
this.
literally did not look into this. I have no idea.
Look at this chat. Look who this is.
I think I'm going to lay.
We have the whole Wisconsin courtroom in the chat here. This is defense attorney Nicole Mueller.
Listen, counsel.
Look at that picture. And she even comes in with, I think I'm going to object. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what I've missed already in chat. Whoever is doing this, you need to be on the podcast with us. Who is it that's doing that?
It's got to be one man's view. He's so good at it. I mean, it could be anyone else now that you're a big dog and all with 8K subscribers. But
This is so good, Thomas. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. This is really good. This is better than a regular Reese's Pieces. It takes a minute. It takes a minute to get used to the crunch. But salty and sweet, like Joan says here. You read it because I'm eating. Hang on.
can we, Mrs. Oh, cool. I didn't know it's a real thing. Peanut butter cups and chips. Sounds really good. I love salty and sweet. I agreed. I didn't know it's a real thing, so I assumed it was going to be a cup with a chip, and he was just going to fire it down. So DMBs, Weatherwatch, you need to get out more. You're right, I do, because I don't go anywhere.
Oh
ever.
my goodness, where did I buy that? I got this at Walgreens. I got it at Walgreens. It's funny. My kids, if you could take them to any store in the world, they want to go to Walgreens, not like the mall or like the toy store or like anything else. They want to go to Walgreens because Walgreens, just the way they present toys in that store makes them look, even though they're junk, like almost everything they sell is garbage as far as toys go. My kids just suck it up. They love it. So we were going to Walgreens because they could want to buy a toy or something, and they had these flavors. They had some other flavors as well, but this was the one that stood out to me.
I'm gonna go tomorrow and find them. To everyone in
these
chat,
are
I've
better.
offended that not knowing they existed. I apologize.
Mrs.
And I'm sorry
RA.
that offends you.
Mrs. R.A., if you've eaten yours or you're in the process of eating it, I need you to come in and verify this. They are so good. They are so good.
Is she about to take a bite?
And she took my other one. I had two. I was
Okay.
going to try two. You know, the first one might be a one-off type thing. And so I was going to do a second one to just verify that it was good. And quite honestly, I anticipated it being yummy, and I wanted two. But she said she'd trade me the glass of milk for the other one, and now I want to know what she thinks. But she might not come in. I don't know. She's just devouring. She's like, nope, I got what I want. I'm done. So, man, that
That's
is
fair.
good. 10 out of 10. Honestly, a full 10 out of 10 on my review for this.
10 out of 10's big. Okay,
Here-
so
here's Mrs. Ari. She doesn't appear. She's like one of those phantoms that you never see on camera. So she just takes the mic and then you hear another voice. So give me just a second.
I'm disembodied. I actually had to share it because I went in the other room to eat it, and all these little RAs came and wanted to be a part of it with me. So I shared with all of them, and that was good. That was really, really yummy. Did you guys like it?
I loved it.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
You didn't get one? Oh man.
didn't
I guess I have to go to. I guess I had a Walgreens as well. Yes, I was robbed. CG. I'm quite frankly, there's a lawsuit. I have grounds for that. But
So I'm in my routine. Saturday mornings, I hit the grocery store to load up for the the eggs and the food and everything for the family. No matter how many stores it takes, I'll be on the hunt. And a couple of people, including DMB, but others in chat, have also said they do the same thing with pretzels. So I'm going to also look for those. I don't know if I'll do it on this podcast, but I'll give them a try this weekend so I can report back because I love the recommendations from chat. You guys are awesome.
it's pretzels and a Reese's, or is it just chocolate covered pretzels? I've had chocolate covered pretzels, white chocolate.
From what
dark chocolate, everything.
From what I gather, it's substitute your potato chips with pretzels. It's chat, right?
Reese's
200
is onto
characters.
something.
So
It's like a chocolate sandwich with peanut butter, and then add anything you want inside. It's really good.
I'm going to be on the hunt. My first half tomorrow is scheduled now. I'm on the hunt for these
Yeah,
Reese's.
it's the weekend, right? The week is over, work is over. It's leisure time, right? So it's time for us to take a break from everything you do. I think now would probably be a good time to talk about maybe what your top 3 leisure activities would be, and I've got some as well that I'd like to share. But I want to hear yours first.
I like this. Okay, so top 3 leisure. Mine have switched as of recently. My top. Does it have to be in order, or could it just be 3 that we like to do?
Just 3. I mean, I sometimes I like to do one thing more than another, and it switches. But so I'll just say, just give me your 3 on the top.
Fair.
That's in your top 10.
Fair. Okay, because
Now-
we go in waves, right?
There are 3 types of leisure, right? I studied about this actually. There is social leisure, cognitive leisure, and physical leisure.
Yeah.
Okay, so as long as it falls into one of those categories, I think it's fair game for this segment, and the chat as well. Be thinking about your 3 top leisure activities, and we'll share some of those as we go through. I see a Reese's sponsorship in the making, says Crafty Glamma. I would not complain; those are so good. Oh my goodness. Okay, Katrina's given hers. Where are you going to start?
So I will. I have 3 that are physical leisure, but I'm going to throw in my one and only. I don't even have 3. I just have one. One social leisure is Recovering Addict YouTube channel. That would be.
That was
that'd be
mine.
That one.
That was mine.
Yeah. There's plenty of room in this front row. Remember?
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, that's a great one.
So I would have to go with forever. It was part of my job as a career, and so I did it. But golf was one of my leisures. At the time, it wasn't leisure because it was my job. But as I sit now at this very desk is where I work all day long, and then watch you, and now join this podcast. When I can get away and golf just about every weekend with my friend Mike that we talked about earlier, that's been my number 1. But as of recently, and you know this, and Richard on a globe in chat knows this. I came upon a new motorcycle because I used to ride in my younger years and back in the day, and so I've got one now. So that has kind of taken priority in my free time. If I can hop on my bike and go for a ride, and do what we dum-dums do. I buy parts to change them out and dress it up and be a dummy. That's just so that's taken more of that leisure time. And then a close tied to second and third. Again, this goes back to with my buddy Mike. He's got a bass boat, and we help load and lock and launch trailer and fish. It would be largemouth bass fishing here in Texas.
Oh man.
That's we go hard at it during fishing season, and it's like a religion half the time. So
there are very few things that can compare to the topwater strike of a largemouth bass. It's just you're dragging a little popper across the top of the water, a little, and up comes the fish, and it's just a explosion out of the water.
Yeah,
bam, set the hook, rod bends, whew, fish on. I hear you there.
100%.
100%.
Top water strike, or I like to flip soft baits a lot.
Oh, that's also good.
Kind of bounce them around, and the fish will grab them. They don't actually bite them and eat them. They just hold them in their mouth. And then you just see your line moving away, and then you have to play it. It's kind of fun. So haven't been in a while.
That's the hardest part for me with bass fishing, because with trout fishing, or like with perch or panfish, you've got like a split second when they bite, if you haven't put some tension on that line, they've either eaten it and spit out the hook, or they've spat out the bait. And then with bass fishing, if you do that, as soon as it starts moving, if you set the hook, they haven't even taken it in their mouth yet. They're just like,
Yep.
And you ripped it out of their mouth. You haven't had a chance to catch it.
100%.
So many times I'm so excited to set that hook that I let the fish free before it even gets hooked. Okay,
Absolutely.
So go over what was your number one?
So right now my number one's riding my motorcycle.
Motorcycle?
It's just new. It's if I don't ride it, I'm out there cleaning it. I mean, it's stupid, right? Neighbors make fun of me. Number 2 is golf.
2 is golf, and
3 is largemouth bass fishing.
Okay.
Yep.
Those
If I'm
are
not
good.
here watching you, I'm doing one of those 3 things.
Okay. So I went a little bit different. I will say, before I go into mine, when you say motorcycle riding, I used to have a Kawasaki KLR 650, which is it's an interesting bike because the Kawasaki brand made that bike for like 20 years without changing a thing on it. We have a bike, it works, people like it, will not change anything. Same colors, same exact parts, year after year after year. The new model was the same as the old one. And most dealers don't do that, right? They always like new designs.
Was it green?
It was red. Well, at least it starts red, but every Kawasaki fades to be like some pathetic, yucky color, and mine faded to a pink. But it was like a whitish pink. But they're amazing bikes. They're on-road, off-road bikes, just enough oomph that you can take it up to 85 miles an hour on the freeway if you need to, and then at the same time, if you need to go off-road and jump it, you can. And that is a blast. And riding a motorcycle, especially in the mountains and in canyons, my favorite is going down as the sun's setting, and it's hot during the day, and you've got your jacket on, and you go down in a little valley, and the temperature drops 15 degrees, and you just feel the change of the temperatures.
Yeah.
And it makes you not want to ever ride in a cage again. Sometimes you refer to cars as cagers, but obviously, so I'm with you there. But that was not on my list today. I'm seeing some of the other great things on here. Kayaking, says Kat. Kayaking, reading, crocheting. There's a good one. Murder kits, box forts, and kittens, says Chandra. Cleaning, watching TV, and singing and dancing from Natural Empress. Great things here. I will say one of the things I like to do, and that I don't do enough of, and that's why I view it this way, is I like cooking with my wife. Not that either of us are fantastic cooks. I think she's much better than I am. But that's fun because, being in the kitchen with my wife is a blast. We joke around, we're playing. It's fun. So I like cooking with my wife as one.
I like that.
And my wife and I love people watching. Like we go out to a restaurant and we like to watch people. We watch people interact and talk. It's weird. I guess we're sort of like stalkers, but creepy. But we do it out in public so everyone can see us, so it's not creepy, right? Is that
And not illegal either.
It's not illegal either.
Yeah.
You guys know I like metal detecting, but I'd probably skip that one for now as far as leisure activities and go with probably playing the guitar. As far as when I need to emotionally reset and just physically reset, playing the guitar is a good just downtime for me.
You just promoted a whole new soundbite to all the viewers now.
What did I do?
Guitar. You're going to have to give us a little riff.
I didn't say it was good.
No, you're going to have.
It was good.
That's not. It doesn't matter. Everyone in chat, if you need a soundbite.
And that's all we have time for, folks. Oh, man.
It's going to happen. I love it. Georgia Colt says the best Vare. Oh, she said that's the best Vare, but
yeah,
no.
The greatest hits.
Soundbite.
Oh, man. We'll work on that. I have written a couple songs that I play. I guess if anyone watches The Lawyer, Peter Tragos.
Best hair in town.
The guy's Fabio. He's got amazing hair.
Yeah.
Great lawyer as well. But he, on his 200,000 subscriber celebration, he went into favorite music with Emily D. Baker, and it was like naming everything I love. And so whatever he likes, I like in music taste. But I play music more of the country to folk type style, and a little bit of pop. But that's it. Anyway, maybe one day you might be able to twist my arm and get you a soundbite.
Soundbite in the making. Amber, make it happen. I know you're in here.
Oh, she's here. She's got the 4 guitars.
I get it. Yeah. She'll push your buttons. Amber's got it.
Rosie from Tucson says, driving my Corvette, working in my art studio, and Mr. RA, or her three ones. Physical, triathlons, social, anytime with my daughter, cognitive, true crime, and weather. Says right on Josephine. Good options. Seriously, everyone needs to have some leisure time. If your schedule is too tight, is too packed, and you don't ever get a reset, you're going to burn out. You need some me time. You need some downtime, and sometimes that can be with family and friends, and sometimes it's not. But just find a hobby.
Please, RA, play a song on the guitar hand with index and middle fingers crossed, musical notes face with tears of joy.
Amen, Jared. Yep. Amen, Jared. I agree.
Maybe. I'll tell you that the songs I write have they're quite personal. Like I wrote a song about my grandpa, who's passed.
Okay.
And so if I share that, I'm going to have to record it beforehand because playing it live, I'll tear up or something during the song, and I don't want to butcher it and not do it justice. But so maybe not today, but we'll get there. So I think we can pencil that in for sometime in the future. Sometime in those double digits of the podcast, not the single digits. So give me a little bit of time. Live music in small venues, crafting and games, says Shells. Love those ones. Love the games. I'm big on puzzles as well. I like puzzles with kids.
My friend Mike and Tammy and them with their granddaughter, they're big on puzzles. It's funny. And they actually they rate puzzles in pieces, right? Mm-hmm. They do. Isn't that the way they do it? Wow, they had a big one, I remember, and their granddaughter lost 2 of them forever, and they were all so flustered. And then they found her in the Barbie's bed. They found the final 2
missing pieces.
Yeah, after like a month, they didn't want to get rid of it. It took up the whole dining room table, and they're like, "Well, we can't take it apart until we find these." Yeah.
So there's a couple kinds of puzzles. You start with just like the simple numbers, and you're like, oh, this is a 100-piece puzzle, or 250, or 500, 1,000, or 2,000 type thing. But then there's like a whole other level of difficulty where you can then say, okay, now this puzzle, all the pieces are identical in shape. They're like mirror image shape, so every piece fits in every possible hole. Does that make sense?
Sounds like
it's torture.
No, actually, no, it doesn't. It sounds like torture.
It
doesn't
torture.
make sense.
It's really bad.
Sounds miserable.
And then they're like, as if that's not bad enough, and we have the same image on the other side, but rotated. You're not up for this?
No, I'm not. That it's not cool, and I get it. I'm not. My brain can't just do it. There's no chance. Yeah. I can't play poker. I go play poker for 10 minutes, and I'm all in with a pair of 2s because I'm tired of sitting at the table, and I have to just
give
away my money. Yeah, off I go. I need to go home. Yep.
Red Pen does a 1,000-piece puzzle a week usually. Bob is outing me, saying I used to sing a mean Men in Black theme song. I did have a version of that I sung, which I will not be singing on the podcast at any time. Bob, I'm going to have to just mute him now. You're in timeout, Bob. Timeout.
KF7AIK in Utah. I got you. Yeah. You're going to get right bad.
Bob, don't do it. Don't do it. Debbie says, one word why I don't do puzzles. Cats. That's it. The cat is anti-puzzle. Vicky says, I'm doing a puzzle now. Well, listen.
Fair.
Scrabble as well. That is fun. Words with Friends. There was a kick where I did Words with Friends for quite a while.
I did too. That was a lot of fun, actually. I really enjoyed that one.
It's you guys are not letting up. You're not letting up at all. We're going to move on. We're not going to talk about about music anymore. Love your suggestions. It looks like some of you have some just amazing hobbies. We need to talk sometime. When we have time, we'll turn on the phone and just let you tell us about your awesome hobbies and what you get into. But
completely.
Magnet fishing. Love this one, Amy. That is awesome. I need to do some more magnet fishing. I don't have a magnet right now, so I'll have to get one of those. But I've got little rivers. I mean, Civil War stuff all around me. I should get a magnet fishing thing set up. All right.
That'd be fun.
Let's move on to some news stories and get me out of this hot seat with the music.
So you're out of the hot seat.
Okay.
We've been live for a hair over an hour.
Okay.
Let's bunny hop to over under and keep the chat going.
Okay.
And interacting.
Okay.
Because everyone's so engaged. So
you started with the. Well, I'm not sure. I haven't decided on my under. Quite honestly, I've got my over. So you're going to have to start while I think about my under, see decide what I'm going to go for too.
Perfect. I'll give you a minute. So those of you
Hey
in chat,
Scott,
if you've
looking
been
forward to Monday.
Sorry. Mighty Michael G, thank you very much. Appreciate the super chat. It's going to be awesome Monday.
Monday's going to be fantastic. Court is crazy. So those of you who've been here before already know. If you're new, we do an overrated, underrated topic. They get a little controversial, meaning Scott and I pick our own thing that we think's most overrated or underrated, and then a lot of people like the opposite. So I'll kick it off while Scott fine tunes his. I'm going to do underrated, which I learned in my Houston trip from one of my colleagues. And it is a Yeti style cup, not Yeti brand, but if I say Yeti, most people understand what that means.
Yeah.
It's a Yeti style cup where the lid is a Bluetooth speaker.
That sounds pretty cool. Hang on one second.
Can Miss SRA or your children sing microphone face rolling on the floor laughing?
Jared, my youngest, I think has perfect pitch, and he did not get that from me. But he can mimic something perfectly. But yes. Okay, so go ahead. Thank you, Jared, for the super chat.
I love the super chat.
So the Yeti lid music, it's can you drink and use it like simultaneously?
It's a full on Yeti looking drink mug with the lid and the straw hole. So we're sitting there on this lawn in front of the lake playing cornhole or bags or whatever people call them. And I look over and I'm seeing a phone on an armrest that sounds really, really clear. And I'm like, a phone doesn't sound that clear.
Yeah.
What is that? So I ask my colleague, hey, is your phone playing music? What's going on? And the colleague in the chair next to him gladly goes, no, it's my cup.
And Pascal sent a super sticker with 1.09.
Oh man. So I'm curious now. I mean, the engineer mind in me is the wheels are turning. Does it use as you drink? Does it use the space in the cup for subwoofer space, or I mean, how does that work?
So it's not phenomenal like the Bose Mini Link or a little JL or something like that. It was loud and clear enough and not as distorted to clearly not be a cell phone from over there. But it was definitely not a solid Bluetooth speaker within that range.
It's good enough. It's like a personal speaker for, you're sitting in your chair, it's in the cup holder, the sound's loud enough for you type thing.
And it gets better.
Yeah.
That evening, we're in the same layout sitting around, and I'm hearing, we were sitting in this lawn in front of these little cabanas, and I'm hearing from the cabana behind us, which that colleague, that was his, I'm hearing some loud music. And I go, oh, hey, do you guys put out a Bluetooth speaker now for the evening? And he goes, no, that's my wife's cup. She has the 32-ounce one.
It's got the dual speakers and the 32
Unbelievable. Yeah. So the lid's like that thick, just clips up, but there's a battery in the lid, and then the straw goes through Bluetooth. It sounded amazing. So you don't have to have a speaker, and
that's awesome. You know what a sucker I am for techno type stuff. Anything audio, anything video, I have to try it. So now that's on my wish list.
Well, that's why I brought it up. I got royalties in the company after the weekend. So I had never heard it before. And then he threw it out there, and I couldn't believe it. It was incredible. I loved it.
And now we're back on music, says Adam. So, but can you hear the RA show on the cup? I imagine anything Bluetooth would work. That is awesome. I'll have to look at that. I don't go many places. I mean, I have a cup holder on my desk, and maybe that's where it needs to go. But Katrina says,
with you.
I want one now. We'll have to do a review, see if I can get one and do a review of it.
I will buy one and then review this. I don't know if I can do it as fast as next Friday, but I will get one and do it because I don't go anywhere. After work, Mrs. Weatherwatch and I, we hang out in the front patio or the back patio. We don't go anywhere, but we always like to have music just kind of playing. So I definitely want to review it. I'll do it before now and the second to the next podcast. Yeah, absolutely.
It's weird because you see these products and you're like, why didn't someone think of this before, right?
Every time.
Why do I carry my Bluetooth speaker and my drink to the beach when I could just carry my Bluetooth speaker drink? And it's like somebody out there it was $1 million idea. They'll never have to work again because they said, well, 1 + 1. Hey, I've got an idea. That is awesome.
Nailed it.
Looking forward to it. Do you want to do your underrated or overrated, or do you want me to go ahead and start with my overrated?
Let's do your under.
Okay. My underrated, I made up my mind on this one. My underrated would be small town memorials. And
Agreed.
And I just realized that I grew up out west, and out west that there's no such things as like private cemeteries. Okay.
Right.
There's a city cemetery, and that's it. Because the expansion out west, it's all been fairly recently, right? So like mid 1800s and newer, and so cities were planned generally and things like that, and so cemeteries are big places that are pre-designated, and you don't have large family lots with a cemetery on the hill type thing out behind the house.
Right.
Coming out here in the east, I saw that, and that was amazing. I'm like, there's a cemetery right there. I want to go see it, and yes, every family lot has a cemetery. They're all over the place. But what I really like is these small town memorials, and there's one not far from me that has a bronze version of the soldier's boots with the gun upside down, the helmet on it, and it has a plaque of all the people who've lived in the town who paid the ultimate price, and it's just a little tiny corner of a park, and it's just like that is cool. That is cool that this little town gets together and celebrates and just.
That's
honors
really cool.
the families that, and I thought, if you ever see one of those, stop, take a moment, read the names, read the plaque. I just say those are very much underrated and need a little more attention.
Yeah. I agree. I like those. That's super cool.
Adam
and that's
says,
something.
Adam says overrated, taking turns. Go ahead.
That right. So kind of just on topic. So my good friend in the GoFundMe, he's retired Leo. When he was on duty, night shift lieutenant, I did a ride along with him. And actually, I have a whole nother story of that one day to anyone that really cares.
Next week is what I heard. Next week.
Okay. It involves a foot pursuit, and I was involved and injured and caught. But anyways, that same night, so oftentimes night shift will actually just casually stroll through the cemetery because goofy things happen in cemeteries, and that's part of city property, and that's where they have to go. Mm-hmm. He found a $50 bill when we got out of the patrol car in the cemetery that night on the ride along, sitting right there on the sidewalk next to.
Who leaves cash at?
I don't know, but I said, "Who takes cash from a cemetery?" He said, "I do."
Bad mojo.
Yeah, that was.
Somebody left it for someone,
Yeah.
and you're taking it. Wow.
So no, he joked, he put it back, but it was funny. There it was, $50 bill right there in the cemetery. So it kind of ties in.
That's pretty funny. Okay, so give me your overrated then.
So overrated. Speaking of money, $50 bills, cash, changing hands, this and that. So this topic is always we're gonna make friends or make enemies, right?
Yeah, it was nice knowing you guys. Apparently, Thomas is going to ruin it for the rest of us. Just kidding. Now I'm curious. Where are we going with this one?
Overrated is March Madness brackets.
Do you guys hear sore loser? Is that what I'm hearing? Say that again.
March Madness brackets. The best part about your commentary, Scott didn't even know this was really going to come up.
I didn't.
The whole reason I said it is because our company's doing it. So for anyone who actually cares about March Madness and brackets, you pick who you think's going to win, so on and so forth, and you get points.
So let's back up a little bit. We've got an international audience. So when we're talking March Madness brackets, we're talking about the NCAA, the National College Athletics Association. So all the colleges in the United States have basketball teams, or many of them have basketball teams.
Oh, no, it's not.
And the teams play in a competition at the end of the season, and they're placed in these brackets or in the tournament based on how they perform during the year. So you have like a number 1 seed all the way down through, I don't know, was it 18 or something? I forget how many are on the bracket. There's a lot, and you've got like 4 brackets for all the different regions, and there's a big playoff, and at the very end, it's the 2 best teams against each other to see who the national champion is. So there's 2 things that happens during March Madness. There's the competition to see which team wins, and there's the competition to see who can guess which team will win. And the bracket is that second competition. It's the people saying, I'm predicting that this is what's going to happen in all the, I don't know, how many games is it? Like 48, 64, 120. I don't know how many. It seems like it goes forever, unless you really want to watch it, and then it goes too fast. But so that's the background. Go ahead.
It's way too many, and I'm trying to log into my bracket now just so I can tell people where it's at, but it's not happening. So I say this because I'm in a bracket, right? So it's all Huskers all the way. Hall. My family's from Nebraska. They're all Huskers, but sorry, it's not going to happen. My whole reason of why it's overrated. So I'm big on sport, huge fan, especially the college athletes trying to make their way and push through. My hat's off to them. But the overrated is for the brackets outside of the athletes, right? Here's my example why. And you said it perfectly, right? Because anyone say sore loser? No, in the company, I did autofill in my bracket, where it just automatically picks who's going to win everything.
You rolled the dice.
Well, I'm not done.
Okay.
I went through and I did, that'll be an upset, that'll be an upset, that'll be an upset, that'll be an upset. All right, I'm done. I have work to do, and I have to watch Recovery Addict on YouTube. I don't have time for this.
I like your priorities. Go on.
And I'm winning the whole thing, right? And I'm in a mix with guys that have like watched from day one, no players' names, their stats.
They've spent years preparing for this day, and your random picks are outdoing them.
Yeah, their DNA. I mean, the whole gamut. It's just, and I'm like, no, I just did autofill and a few upsets that I think might happen, and just leading the field with the company. No, that's why it's overrated. You don't have to be. Hey, if you love it and that's your whole thing, I totally appreciate. I'm not knocking that. I'm just knocking the brackets.
I have some extended family members who do very well in these brackets, and when you find out how they pick them, they're like, well, I go off the team colors, which one I like best, or I think of which mascot would be able to beat the other one in a fight, and this is how they pick, and they do great. They do great. I guess that makes sense, because we always see the videos online. It's like we did the puppy challenge, and which bowl of dog food does the puppy choose, and they pick the brackets that way. I guess the more work you put into it, the worse you do.
That's what I think happens.
Wow.
You overthink it. There's so much analyzation that goes in, and stats and this and that.
We should write a book and sell it to people who want to do well in brackets. I think we've got the winning secret.
Don't care.
Just don't overthink it. Just fill it out and be done. That is awesome. That's awesome. That's a great overrated. I like it as well. I've never ever done well in a bracket. But
I'm curious. What's your overrated?
My overrated. It's a little bit different. The low fuel indicator in a car.
Like in a car?
Yeah, like on your dash. It's like ding, little gas pump lights up on the dash. Ding, when it's
and
you're floating.
People
there.
are like, oh, I got 60 miles.
That's the thing.
Which is not true at all.
Nobody knows how much they have. The light goes off, and you better just pull into a gas station right then, because for some reason, a gas gauge, you think that when it's like all the way full, your tank is full. You're usually right, okay? But when it's halfway, that doesn't mean there's half of what you had when it was full. And the last like quarter of the tank, that could actually be only like a fifth of the tank. You know, it's like the gauge, the bowl is not evenly shaped. It's not a cylinder that's got a valve in it. No one knows how much gas is left when the gas light comes on. And I'm too poor to afford a car that will tell me how many miles I can go on what's left. So I know there are some people out there that cheat and have that little device that says you can go 70 miles before you need to fill up. Nope, the light comes on. I need to find a gas station right now. So basically, it's overrated. Why even have it? I just need to fill up every time I drive, all the time. Every time I see a gas station, pull in, fill up, because you never know how much gas you have left. Overrated completely.
And I'll tell you, you have 30 miles till empty. But that's on, if you drive it like Fred Flintstone, you might. But if you like to accelerate a little bit and go, and it's a float in the gas tank. So it's not that accurate. You can't trust it.
Calypson's Vixen, Amber, has her own overrated there in chat. I can't answer that one, Amber, but I'll let you speak for that. About the gas tank, though, you've got a motorcycle, right? Do you have a low fuel indicator on the motorcycle?
So it's funny to say that. My motorcycle does not.
Okay, but under the gas tank, there's a little lever, right? There's a little flip the switch, and you've got a reserve or something. No, you've got nothing.
So mine's a classified more as a vintage race bike, so I don't have a reserve fuel tank, anything. All I know is my bike was built for the track, and I get ballpark, depending how you drive it, right? Faster and harder you go, you lose it. But I get 90 miles to a tank, so I have to set my little odometer, which, by the way, the last 2 times I've gone out, it just magically reset. So I just had to kind of guess and come home. But no, I watch my odometer. When I get to 50 miles, I make sure to go top it off because my odometer is my gas gauge, and I don't trust it either.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Overrated. I need to just, buck up and buy a car that will tell me how far I can go, and then I'll have my problem solved.
Or, as my dad taught me growing up, if you ever hit quarter tank, you top her off. You never let it get past a quarter. Then you're always safe.
Well, I heard before an emergency, you want to have like 3/4 tank full at least. But
An emergency,
who knows when the emergency is coming, honestly? I mean, what sort of advice is that? It's like, hey, before an earthquake, you want to do this. Well, when's that? How many days do I have before I have to do that? Nobody knows.
Fair. My dad always taught me you pretend that a quarter tank remaining is the empty. So if you ever get near it, go top it off. You never let it fall below that line. And I think he's watching tonight, actually. So if you are, Dad,
good advice, and it's stuck
plug.
with you. That's awesome. We've been on for almost an hour and 20 minutes. Do we want to go ahead and wrap it up here, or do you want to address any of the stories? We've got several more stories we were planning on sharing, but we got carried away on other things.
This was such an amazing day for you and your channel and all the chatters and all the followers and all the new subscribers that have joined this channel. Holy cow. It's St. Patty's Day.
It is.
It is. It's Match Madness. Some people in here are watching and listening, so they need to be set free. It's
Checking
been
their
fun.
brackets.
Checking their brackets. I just checked mine. I've fallen to second place, but it's probably karma. No, amazing time. Thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in to watch. I see so many names in chat that have been on RA's channel since bright and early this morning, and you guys are still here now this late at night. And then another shout out to those of you that I know can't catch it. You're going to be watching this either late tonight or tomorrow over the weekend on the rewatch, and comment and afterwards. Thank you so much for coming back to watch the podcast and chime in. It means the world to us and everything else. So I hope everyone has an amazing, amazing weekend.
Yeah. One more shout out for the Weather Watch's friends, for Tammy and Mike. The link for the GoFundMe is pinned at the top of chat. If you're willing to or able to give them a little bit of help that way, even this very small donation, they would definitely appreciate it, as they're facing just an enormous challenge, and just a portion of that is the financial part. But that would help ease their burden a little bit. Thank you very much, Weather Watch, for bringing that to our attention, Thomas. Sorry, I call you Weather Watch because that's what you show up on the screen as. but thank you very much.
Fair. No, thanks for pushing me to make it happen. As you mentioned, I didn't really want to, but again, for those that can donate, awesome. I have seen several have. That's amazing. If you can't, please do not feel obligated. Don't stress. If you can share it, please share it. If you can't do any, no big deal. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Scott, again, congratulations on 8K. And what an awesome Friday.
It has been amazing. It's been so much fun. I never thought I'd be here. It's been, 4 or 5 months of just a whirlwind of finding the best people on the internet and just being welcomed with open arms into the community. Bite me. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Rebecca. All right, let's see. I think we've got everybody. We're good. We'll save the other stories for another day. Do you want me to reveal my identity? No, one man's view. That was absolutely epic. Your comments, your sense of your comedic timing is impeccable. Let's put it that way.
Very well played.
Yep, well played, sir. Appreciate you very much. All right. It says 8.14. Yes, it's unbelievable. I'm excited for Monday. I'm excited for Sunday. I want to see what Brandy Churchwell does with that video. She's probably going to throw me under the bus, so that's cool. I deserve it a little bit. But that is just great. Any final words?
Thanks to the mods who stuck around that were here from this morning all the way through tonight as well. I see Amber in there, and I've seen a couple others. That's fantastic. The community itself governs each other, and what a great time. It's so much fun. Scott, I know we're both nervous every time we start this podcast.
Butterflies.
And get ready.
So bad. Yep.
Yeah. And then we get started, and it is so much fun. And the people in chat help it make it be fun. And so I hope everyone has a great weekend with friends, family, whatever you do. Thanks again for being part of the show. We really, really look forward to doing it. So thank you all for being here.
And thanks for not making me eat those those hard-boiled eggs. that would not be good. The show would have ended a lot sooner had I had to eat those eggs, for sure.
Right.
But thank you, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you next week. Might change the time a little bit, so be on the lookout. We're also probably going to be moving this podcast to its own page soon, as we're working on that as well. But we won't move without informing you, letting you know. So, all right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys. Have a great night.
Have a good weekend, everybody.